Buckle up, email warriors. Microsoft Outlook might be the trusty old steed in the digital realm, but guess what? It's got a shiny new knight in shining armor. The Microsoft Copilot. Gone are the days of playing hide and seek with your inbox, only to be greeted with an avalanche of emails upon your return. It's like trying to hold back the ocean with a broom, right? But fear not, the new digital sidekick Copilot is swooping in to save your day, right within the cozy confines of Office and Microsoft 365. Imagine this, a tool so smart it's like having a mini you taking care of business in Outlook. Can Copilot really take the wheel and drive your email workload down to zero while you kick back? That's the million-dollar question we're unraveling today. Join me as we leap into the thrilling new world of Microsoft Copilot and Outlook. Watch in awe as it drafts emails with the finesse of a seasoned scribe, replies with the wisdom of a sage, summarizes your endless threads in a snap, and even gives you a heads up on your day ahead. Ready to see if Copilot can turbocharge your workflow? Let's dive into the future of work with Microsoft Copilot and Outlook. When it comes to using Outlook, you're going to spend a lot of time writing out emails. And wouldn't it be great if we had an AI assistant that could write all of our emails? With Copilot, that's what certainly it can do. Now here inside of Outlook, I've opened up a new email message, and all I'm going to do is to click on the /T to open up the submenu and select Draft with Copilot. In this dialog, we can give Copilot information on what I need to generate an email around. So in here, I'm going to chase up a proposal to one of my colleagues, and now I'm going to add that into this dialog. With the content added, now we need to consider the sentiment of the email. In other words, how is it going to be worded to the person I'm sending to right now? Well, we have this filter here. Select this, and now we can change the tone of the email. We can have direct, neutral, casual, formal, or we can make it as a poem. Now, personally, I don't think email would work as a poem, especially when you're chasing up a proposal. But hey, it's up to you, right? We can also adjust the length of this email. Do I want it to be short, medium, or long? Now in this case, I'm going to have a formal medium email that I'm going to go ahead and select Generate. And there I have it. I now have an email that's been drafted over to Albert, which includes all the information and puts it in a very formal way. And of course, if I'm happy with that, we can go ahead and select Keep It, or if you want to continue to make changes, you can just click on this box and to add additional changes or change the tone. Now I'm going to go ahead and select Keep It, which will be inserted into this email. And remember that Copilot isn't exactly just this. You can now make changes to this email to make it more fit, such as changing it more to your own tone. And it is also always worth considering the audience and ensuring that the email meets your own requirements. But that just took seconds to do. By just giving Copilot a scenario, it can draft an email pretty easily, allow us to refine it, send it, and save a whole lot of time for us. Can Copilot reply to your emails? It absolutely can. Now we have learned how Copilot can draft a new email. In this example here is an email thread that has been reviewed by Copilot in advance. And now it requires me to respond to one of my colleagues. And all I'm going to do is to click on the reply button. And here you can see that there are suggested replies ready to be drafted by Copilot. And to give you some context for this email thread, I have asked some of my colleagues how our budget for the project demo is doing, and both of them agree that we are well within budget right now. So for this example, I could come into here and I could draft something that reaffirms to what they already said. So for example, I can choose agree with Albert, one of my colleagues. And then you can actually see that the email drafted is in response to the content inside of this email. But again, we can select some, we can keep it, or we can then change the email and make some more alterations. But what you're seeing here is that Copilot can review the email thread, come up with responses, and also you can select them and insert them straight into your email reply, saving more time when it comes to replying to those important emails. Let's talk about one thing on Outlook that can really get on people's nerves. And that would be searching for emails, am I right? How many times have I heard on Outlook that people simply just can't find their emails? In fact, recently I was just looking for an email and I was using the search box inside of Outlook, and I was filtering through using all the available filters to find that one email that I knew existed, but with Outlook I just couldn't find it. So then I had to return to looking through all of the email folders, and guess what? I found the email, but with Outlook search, I just couldn't find it. So you might be wondering, can Copilot really help us on this particular scenario? Well, I believe it can. Because searching Outlook, especially with filters, can be problematic. It takes a lot of time to use the filters, and sometimes you're even not looking at the right places. So let's turn that on its head. Let's use Copilot to find emails for us. Now that we're using Copilot Chat in Microsoft Teams, I'm going to ask Copilot to find an email relating to a quote that I had it sent to me recently. Let's go ahead and add that question into Copilot and then send it. Now, of course, I could use Outlook filters to find those, but it could take me a lot of time. But through this way, I can search for content based upon information that I would use in a more human way. Now, it found the email that was sent to me, and it also included the subject, Project Demo. And you're probably thinking, that's great, but I still can't see the email. Well, remember that all of the content results you get back in Copilot is referenced. So when we select this number 1 here, it'll show us where that email is from, and when I select the title of the email, it will take us into Outlook and will open that email for me. So you can see that searching for emails is entirely possible using Copilot, using human search terms rather than search filters. But searching in your inbox doesn't end just there. You might work with stakeholders and you need to keep up to date on what's going on, especially with lots of emails coming into your inbox. So what we can do in Copilot is we can ask for the latest updates on a particular person. So let's go ahead and ask it for one of my colleagues, Albert Yan. Now we have a response which has come from my own company's information, and it shows that Albert recently modified some of the documents as well as replying some of the emails, also sharing the meeting minutes with some of my colleagues. And we can see here that with one question, I had Copilot summarizes all the recent information around Albert in one single paragraph. And once again, we could click on any of these references and then click on the title to open the email to get more context. So what about summarizing emails? Yes, there are scenarios that you might get where you have an email that you need to read through and understand, which came from multiple people over a period of time. And that can take you minutes or even up to hours just to read through and understand. And it makes it even worse when you get that email right before you need to go into a meeting with 10 minutes notice. Thankfully, Copilot and Outlook can summarize any of your emails. So when you open up an email, you will have an option which says Summary by Copilot. And if we select it, it will summarize your email thread in an instant. So here we can see that I followed up with Albert and Kira about the remaining budget hours for Demo's project and asked if more hours should be added to the budget. And both Kira and Albert reaffirmed to me that we are well within the budget. So very quickly, I can summarize a long email thread and once again reply by Copilot, or even just take no action at all. But by summarizing your emails in Copilot, it can certainly save you a lot of time when it comes to all of those important emails with lots of contents that you need to catch up. But Copilot is not just limited to emails. No, it has access to your calendar as well. So here I ask Copilot a question. How does my week look like for meetings? You can actually see here that it identified the meetings that I've got upcoming in my calendar. And again, I can open the references and I can find out to which meetings they relate. We can also ask Copilot another question. What do we need to cover in my meeting for, let's say, Copilot Studio X Power Ultimate? Well, you can see here that Copilot can search the web and find information on what Copilot Studio and Power Ultimate are, and therefore give you a bit of an idea of what to cover in that meeting. So Copilot, with its web search capability and integration into your calendar, can certainly provide insights into your meetings before you head into them. But if you don't want to generate your emails in Copilot because you're human, you want to be authentic, you want to be true to yourself, I get it. Copilot gets it too. Instead, you might want to try coaching by Copilot. So here I've drafted a reply to one of my emails, and Copilot did not generate this reply. But I can have Copilot check it out for me to make sure it actually works as an email response. And all I need to do is go to the Copilot icon at the top of the screen, click it, and select Coaching by Copilot. And here, Copilot will analyze the sentiment based upon the content inside this email to ensure that my response is appropriate, and it will also coach me on the responses that I can update to improve my email. And here we go. We now have the response from Copilot. And we can see here that Copilot is suggesting to use a more courteous tone to show respect and appreciation for the reader's time and effort. It also suggests to use a more engaging tone so that the reader feels more valued and involved in the process. And lastly, it asks to provide more context to avoid confusion or ambiguity. And once you read all of the suggestions provided by Copilot, you can go ahead and copy any of the suggestions provided by Copilot that you deem appropriate and add it into the body of your email. But in any case, the ability to have AI Copilot review your email and improve it is certainly available for any of your email replies.
Here you go. So this is a training tutorial for how to use Copilot in Microsoft Outlook. I hope you find this video helpful. I'm Caleb Wong. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.